So as I stated earlier, learning to paint is all about learning how to use your brush. Now the reason why painting is so hard is because this brush is flexible as compared to our pencils where, it's a very sturdy, very solid point. So part of this is learning about the correct brush pressure. Okay, part of it is learning how to manipulate that brush to get a nice even transition, and then how to have enough paint in your bristle as well as enough moisture in your bristles. Now, another thing to know about blending is you cannot blend two colors if they're dry. Okay, obviously, because there's no way for me to blend this. But both actually need to be wet. So when I'm blending this, I can't lay down my white, let it dry, and then come back. Although with tempera, because it will mix a little bit once it gets wet again, it's a little bit different. But we want to kind of work a bit more quickly with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down some more white. And instead of just painting one box here, I'm going to kind of spread it out over a larger section. All right, so here we go. Again, we're trying to maintain brush control, but we also are trying to practice the art of blending. So here I'm painting, and again, my water is a little bit dark, but it's not too saturated. But I need a perfect combination of paint and moisture. Okay, so now that I have some paint down, what I'm going to do, just like we did before, we're going to mix just a little bit of gray. Now I'm going to begin to lay that in over top here. All right, and see how it was kind of similar to this value here. So it's actually pretty close to my second square. Now when I've laid down the value, I make my nice crisp edge. Ooh. The whole act of blending is lifting up on your brush and dragging that paint in two different directions. Now each brush is going to manipulate a little bit differently, but don't continue to apply the same pressure. If I apply the same pressure, I'm going to get streaks or ridges to it. So I'm kind of letting up on the pressure, lightening that touch a little bit. Nice crisp edge. And again, I can't do this if it's dry. Okay, so there I have an even transition, and I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay, so mix a little bit more value in there. Lay it down. Paint my nice crisp edge. And then let up on that pressure, drag it in different directions until I have a nice soft edge. Okay, I had quite a bit of paint down there, so you can always go back and grab a little bit of white to even that transition out. Okay, so again, a little bit more. And notice I'm not stopping because I had got a little dark there. I'm not stopping because I don't want it to dry. So I'm just judging my value off what I have before, lay down that paint, and then soften the edges by dragging my brush in different directions. And it's okay if some brush strokes show up. You just don't want it to be too obvious. You don't want there to be any streaks or separations. All right, so again, laying down the value. Hold it up here a little bit. It's kind of wiggling away. Needed a little bit more white and a little bit more water. So if it gets a little dark, don't be afraid to just put pure white over top. But you don't want to leave it. You want to still continue to blend that outward. Okay, and I keep working that edge until it's kind of disappeared a little bit. A little bit more black, kind of dab my brush, lay it down, and it does look like I need some more black paint in there. Still controlling my brush, my movements, since I have black right here. Ooh, I think it kind of got clogged. Whoop, wow. You will not need this much. When things are clogged, make sure that you declog it before you keep squeezing. That's my lesson to you today. Alright, so I'm just grabbing some more of my dark pigment to bring in here. I always am a little bit less controlled when I'm in the center, and then I slow down as I get to the edge. And again, just drag that paint across until you have a nice even transition. Okay, now it does look like I have a little bit of white showing here. Ideally, I'd want that all to be covered. But do you see how there's not any defined lines straight up and down? The transitions are nice and gradual as you're going. Okay? So, as you are doing your gradient study, key things to remember. You can't blend if there's not wet paint below it or wet paint next to it. Okay? To blend, you have to let up on the pressure of your brush and kind of drag it more in a vertical position rather than that horizontal position where there's more pressure. Okay? And then if it gets a little dark, just grab a little bit of white and try to blend it in as you go. Okay? Yeah, it's a little challenging, but it'll get easier the more you practice it. So stay controlled, try your best, and ready, set, go.